CJ. Today, slightly different day. We're in the Hastings Angling Centre with my good friend Brian, and we've set ourselves a project of trying to get a basic starter kit for beach fishing on a budget. Now, we're not going to go for cheap and nasty. We're going for good value to get you up and fishing on the beach. And I think that realistically, we've managed to get it down to about 150 quid. So here's Brian.
Hi guys.
Should we have a look around the shop and see what we can come up with for this budget?
Absolutely. So the plan is, as CJ's just said, is to get this kit on a budget. We're looking to get everything: rod reel, rod rest, line, lead weights, rigs. So it's a package ready to go. So let's go and have a look around the shop.
Yeah, and as I say, we started out opening for 100 quid, but it's just not realistic. So £150.
One of the issues is that the guys just cannot get hold of mid-range priced gear at the moment. It's out the door as soon as it comes in. So we're going to go with what we've got. Yeah. So let's go and have a look around the shop.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we're on a budget of £150. You could do it cheaper than that, but I don't think you'll get a decent rod, or you can get second hand. But that's all down to what's available.
What we've got up here is a rod and reel here for 45 quid. It's actually it's badged as a mackerel fishing rod. It will do you all right for a while, but we're looking for something a little better than that. Yeah. So obviously the budget's got to go up a bit. We have got a package here, which is a decent rod, decent reel. Again, it's just, as you can see, just over our budget a wee bit, but...
And that's not got a tripod, and it hasn't got all the bits.
The rod rest, etc. So let's see what we can do.
So you could do it at this sort of level for about 200 quid.
Definitely. I would suggest. Yeah, you can just get in at 200 on that, but we're going to go under that price, guys. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, they've got a little absolute forest of rods here. Yeah. We've got to find out that the freshwater rods, the boat fishing rods, we're actually looking for beach, obviously. Tends to be at this end of the shop, and there's various prices. As I say, that's the mackerel fishing rod we've just seen without the reel. That's a really good deal. 30 quid. But as I say, we're looking for something a little bit better. There's some really good second-hand stuff around as well. There's some Tronics Pro. There's a whole host of them. But what I'm looking for is that.
Right, so Sonic Vader XS.
Sonic Vader rod. It is the one that's in that package deal, but we can't afford the reel that goes with it on that deal. So we're going to go with the rod. Yeah. That gives us another 70 quid to play with. Bit of quick maths there for you all. I've actually used one of these. One of my clients has come along with one of these. They're okay. They'll certainly get you out and fishing, and it will last you.
And it'll cast 4 to 6 ounces.
I believe this is a 4 to 6 ounces, a 13-foot rod as well. So with that extra length on the rod, you will invariably get some extra distance. We'll show you how you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Right, let's go looking.
So we've got the rod.
From the top end of the shop, just round the corner, as I say, you've got a forest of rods down through the middle as well. We're after a rod rest.
Yeah, and rod rests aren't cheap, people. They are not cheap. No.
The price of anything metal went up ridiculously high at times. We're actually looking for a single head one, purely because of the price difference. So this one is 25 quid, keeps us under our budget still. So we're currently at £105, and we still need to get that reel and all the bits that go with it. So let's continue the search. This is absolute racks and racks of freshwater fishing gears. It's all the carp fishing stuff, as I understand it. Not my game.
No, not my game either. Warning! Looking at reels. Right, so we've come round the corner because the shop's getting quite busy now, and we are now looking at reels. Now, I think with regard to reels, you are going to need to compromise to keep it to the price, because to my mind, the important thing is the rod, and we've got a good rod here. So we need a reel that's going to fit that rod, and is going to keep us within this budget of £150 that we've set ourselves. So this is a reel that we found in the shop. It's a Shizuka, which doesn't describe it, but it's, you know, it's a reasonably priced reel. It comes with line on it already, so we haven't got to worry about the line. The reel essentially is a means of casting your line out and a receptacle for your line. So I would suggest that once you get into the sport, you might want to upgrade this. But for a starter kit, this is more than adequate. So I mean, most tackle shops will have a reel of this ilk in their stock. So let's have a quick look at this reel. So Brian, what do you reckon?
Okay guys, so as Chris said, it's a Shizuka. Quite intrigued by the explosive tackle, so you never know. We'll unbox it. What we've got is a fixable reel. Vast majority of these you can change the handle to left or right depending on your preference. This one, which is great for our budget, comes with line fitted as well. So
yeah,
that saved us a little bit of additional expense. It's I'm going to get
ruin your filming.
As you can see, the shop is busy. That's Cliff running around doing his thing.
Doing nothing.
So this will get you out, this will get you fishing, this will catch you some fish. And as part of this, we fully intend doing that with this kit. Yeah, it's all there. As Chris quite rightly said, you know, you're going to find a point where you want to upgrade, but this will get you started. I've got in my personal kit that I use for coaching, I've got reels of this sort of quality, and they've been going for years and years and years with, I hate to say it, very little maintenance, because I've got so many of them I just can't keep up with it all. But these will certainly get you out there. Keep it clean, and it will last a lot longer.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line with it, guys.
And that's the point of these things. If you just soak it in salt water and then leave it in your garage for 6 months, it's not going to last. But if you spray it off with fresh water, give it a lube from time to time, if it packs up in the first day of ownership, then I'm sure you could take it back to the shop and they'll replace it. Yeah. Okay, so do we know what breaking strain line there is on that?
It doesn't say on the box, but my estimate would it be somewhere between 18 and 20 pounds.
Okay, right.
My personal use, that's a little heavy,
Yeah.
but it's very, very useful, and it will take a little bit rougher stuff than I would normally use on our clean beaches. So you could fish in some rougher areas. Yeah. So yeah, it would certainly do the business.
And it's a monofill, not a braid.
Yeah.
Again, good to start with.
Starting out, mono's far better than braid.
Yeah. But you're not going to cast that without a shock leader. So.
Which is, so the shock leader's there, takes that initial surge when you're casting out. This one is tapered, so it goes from thinner through to thicker. And it goes from 15 pounds up to 50 pounds breaking strain. Now we generally work on 10 pound breaking strain for every ounce of lead. 5 ounces is quite commonly used locally, so 50 pounds absolutely spot on. But that's all there. You've got 5 shock leaders there, and that's £9 on our budget as well. Yeah,
so we're actually under budget.
Under budget.
But we are going to buy some rigs and weights, etc. as well on top of that.
Moving around the shop again then, guys, we'll have a look at the rigs first. So we're going to go basic. We're going to get 2. And these are called flapper rigs, mainly because the hook lengths flap around when you cast them out. So, you know, nice and straightforward. These have got small hooks in them as well, but they're strong enough. These are small enough for a small fish to take it, and strong enough to hold a bigger fish, should you be lucky enough to get into one. As you can see on the rack there's a huge variety of rigs. These are what I normally get people started with. They're really nice, they will catch your fish. They're not going to be massive distance casting rigs, but they'll get you out far enough to catch fish and, as I say, get you started in the sport. Lead weight wise, we move down, as you can see, there's an absolute bucket load of them down here as well. So these plain leads, they're just going to roll around in the sea. Now we've got tide that runs, obviously, and you've got a current that runs as well. So we tend to use a lot of these spike leads. They're generally known as breakaway leads, but that's because of the company that first invented them. The idea is that these spikes go into the sand and hold it like an anchor when you reel it in. break out like that, so you can bring it in without straining yourself, pulling it through, pulling the spikes through the sand at the same time. The beauty of these is because they're stainless steel, these spikes, you can bend them ever so slightly in or out depending on the tidal conditions at the time. And these come in, if you're going for the 5 ounce ones, these are £1.60 each, and the 4 ounce ones come in at £1.45 each. So we'll have 2 of the 5 ounce, because that will deal with any of the conditions that we're likely to have. So that's adding another £3.20 onto our budget. Now I've got a strain to get back up from the floor.
Creaking sound was
Can we afford
Brian's knees.
WD-40 on our budget? So where are we? We're still well under budget,
Yeah.
guys. Well under budget. The rigs came in at, it's not actually a price, oh, £2.75 a piece. So £5.50. Quite impressed with my own maths today. It's pretty good. So it's £5.50, £8.20 on top of that, £7.70 in total. We're well within our.
okay. So we've done it under £150. That's good, isn't it?
We have literally got everything you need. Put it all together, go down the beach, go fishing, other than you need to add bait.
And
But
clips for the end of the line as well.
Let's get some little clips. Well, I'll just open one of these packets up. These are little clips that we use on the end of the line, so you can clip your rig to it. It just makes your life so much easier when you're on the beach. It's literally clip on, clip off. I don't know if you can see that properly in my hand. You tie the line onto that end, and everything just clips in and off of that part of it. But what we will do is put all the kit together and show you how it all operates.
Yeah, show you the knot for tying the
Absolutely.
shock leader onto the main
So
line.
there's a pack there of, I believe, 10, and that's another £1.50.
Right.
I'm a bit clumsy, I drop them, but that's another £1.50. So we are still well within inside.
Which gives us the money for bait.
and that will give us that extra few quid to buy bait.
Right.
Bait don't. A lot of people think it's very expensive for bait. My argument is the guys that go out and get it work their socks off
Yeah.
at all hours to go and do it in some pretty horrendous conditions. So it is what it is, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I think locally we're paying about £4 for 10 lugworm. If you want to cut your costs, get yourself a pump or a spade and have a go yourself.
And and you'll quickly realise why the bait costs what it costs, because it's hard
not
work.
an easy thing to do. It is pretty strenuous, but once you get into it, you can certainly get enough to go out and fish with on a day, you know, when you need to. But yeah, bait costs are what they are, guys. So we got everything there. What we're going to do is put the whole kit together so you can see it, and we're going to get out on the beach and use it, and hopefully catch ourselves a fish with it as well. That's the plan. Okay.
All right. So there you go, guys. We've managed to do it. We've gone under budget. My only thing is you might want to upgrade the reel at some stage, but it will certainly get you started. Yeah, so let's go out and catch some fish. So 3, 2, 1. Mate, how you doing?
Good.
All right, made it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got set up for
9.
nine coming days. All these you are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my zippy on the end.
Ooh.
I've just hit a few. Just starting to get used to it.
Shall I go down that end there?
Yeah, I've got one more set to put out, which I'm probably going to put out where
Yeah.
those guys are.
All right, okay. I'll go to the left of you here. I'm out of the way then, and
Good.
then we come down and chat.
Absolutely.
All right, okay, okay.
I'm amazed I've got all 9 setups in half an hour.
Well done. It'll take me half an hour to put one up. Right, so up down the beach, got this bargain or budget rig with me. I've added a few little bits which we'll talk about, but still brings us in within the budget of what was £150. We've definitely beaten that by quite a long chalk. But obviously that doesn't include bait, and I have bought some bait. Yeah, so the couple of little things that I've bought, and I'll show them as I get them out, is a finger fob, a disgorger and a baiting needle. None are essential, but they are, what should we say, a good idea to have. So we're down at Hastings in the harbour, nicely sheltered, beautiful evening, looking very fishy out there. Let's hope we can catch some fish with this budget setup. Put the camera back on once I'm set up. Right, now I can't emphasise too much the importance of putting a shock leader on when you're fishing off the beach. The kind of general rule of thumb is 10 pounds breaking strain for each ounce you're going to cast, and I like to add another 10 pounds on top of that, but today we're using 15 to 50 pound shock leaders. It comes in 5 lengths of that on this spool. They're not cheap, but it is within our budget. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to strip, I don't know, 3 meters of this off here, because they're always too long. But I guess it's better to have too long than too short. So we'll take 3 meters off. Don't chuck this away, because you can use this for making up traces and all sorts of things. And either way, if you're not going to use it, it needs to get bundled up and put into the line recycling. And then we need to combine the main line on the rod with this shock leader. So we're going to combine these 2 lines. The blue line is the main line off the rod, the orange line is the shock leader, and we're going to tie those together, and we're going to use a knot called the allbright knot. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do that on this video. There are loads of videos out there that show you how to tie knots. I like the improved allbright knot. So that's what I'm going to tie tonight, the improved allbright knot, but I'm going to do with a bit of magic. So there's the 2 lines, and so that's the allbright, and that's the improved allbright knot. As I say, I'll put a link to something on YouTube that shows you how to tie that knot. I'm not doing it on the beach here with my fumbly fingers. What I'll do is I'll serve to confuse you further. Bought in the tackle shop. So we've got a clip we put onto the end of the shock lever, which clips into the top swivel on the 2-hook flapper. Come down here, got the first snood there. So the first bit of line that comes off to a hook, which is on a trap swivel between 2 beads, goes down to a fairly small hook with a bit of ragworm on it. I couldn't get any black lug, but this is where you need to get in your local tackle shop and find out what bait they've got available and what bait's catching fish. And then the second snood, which is going to put a bait very close to the bottom for the final bait. Clipped into a clip with our 150 gram breakaway lead. We'll give it a little lazy lob and whack that out there with the rod to see if we can't catch a fish with it. But yeah, looking very fishy out there. Let's whack this out. So put the camera over this side. Let's see how this rod gets on. You can get a fish first cast. Be good, wouldn't it? And then we'll be cursed by the curse of the first cast fish. Because my experience is if you catch a fish on first cast, you don't catch anything after that. So one of the things that I've added to the shopping list is a finger fob. And I would urge you to have something like that. Either a finger fob or a thing called a casting cannon, which we'll talk about on another video, just to protect the finger on the cast, because if you're casting a lot, you can end up with quite a sore finger. Turn the bail arm to face you, take hold of the line with your finger, and we're just going to do a lazy lob. I'm not going to whack this. We'll get a little bit further away so we can see the action of the rod on the video. Turn to look where we're casting, make sure there's no swimmers, and then, whoa, not very far, but far enough. For the first cast. Make sure the lead has hit the bottom, snap the bail arm shut, wind it in so we're in contact with the bait, then let a bit of line out where we put the rod on the rod rest, and it's at this time I would get out the flask and have a cup of tea, but I haven't brought a flask with me, so there are There is places around here I could get a cup of tea, I reckon. That's it, fishing now. Right, so Brian's going to have a cast of the rod. He's going to use his Brighton cast, his inertia cast. Yeah, it goes all right.
Nice thing is, guys, that rod has got the power.
Sorry?
That rod's got the power to take a decent cast on a 5 ounce.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Was,
The 5 ounce isn't collapsing it at all.
You can feel it's still got some
yeah.
grunt in there.
I think a 6 might be getting a little bit much for it, but for for a starter rod, for coming down the beach and having a fish with,
Absolutely.
you can get out into the fishy zone with it, and it's not going to snap on you.
No, it's
Yeah, so yeah, very pleased with that as a starter kit.
do you proud as a starter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean there are other makes and other models that will do a similar sort of thing, but if you're hunting around for a rod, as a starter or as a gift for someone, I don't think you can go far wrong with that rod.
No.
It's a very nice rod, and as I say, what was it? The rod itself on its own was 80 quid, wasn't it?
I've got a feeling it was 70.
70, yeah, might be right. Yeah,
Yeah. All in all, good deal.
yeah. I mean, we compromised with the reel. I mean, I can't odds that. That reel will last you a season, but it'll get you up and started and get you fishing.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Happy days. All I've got to do is catch a bleeding fish. Prove that it does work.
Yeah, that is the ultimate.
I'm going to give it till the sun goes behind the hills, and then I'm going to pack it up, knock it on the head. Might have to do a second session on the beach, see if we can see this rod catch a fish. It's not happened tonight, has it? Between 10 of us, we've had one fish, which was a very nice bass, to be quite honest. A nice table-sized bass, but not for me. So I'm going to have to do another session on the beach with this rod and this bargain setup to prove that it does catch fish. It wasn't to be tonight, and I don't think it was the fault of the gear, it was just that the fish weren't here. I bet as soon as I pack up, they'll all start catching fish. That's sod's law, isn't it? But I'm going to pack away now. I'm going to start heading home. I think it's fish and chips for tea for me tonight. And we will do another session on the beach with this bargain setup. Remember, if you want a chance to win this, you need to send me a message with the word budget in the message, and buy me a coffee. And up above the thing there's a little icon that you click on to buy me a coffee. And then all the names will go in a hat, and we'll draw it out, and you will win this whole setup for the price of a cup of coffee. Catch you on the next one. Right, well, back on down on the beach, determined to catch something with this bargain budget rod setup. So, we'll see. We will see. Woohoo, got a bite on here. Right, that looks like a little bass. Well, I think there's something on here. It's taking me way off to the left there. Yeah, happy days, little bass. Well, it's taken me a little while, but with the budget rod, just to prove that it does catch fish, we've got ourselves a nice little bass. So we'll get him unhooked and back in the water pretty pronto. But yeah, happy days. On the Sonic Vader budget rod, lovely little bass. So let's get him back in the water. So, you can fish from the beach on a budget. If you want to win, if you want a chance to win this budget set, then send me a comment with the word budget in the comment, and also buy me a coffee, and the link is above the top here of the page where you can do that, and you'll be entered in a draw for this whole setup. But you know, if you're on the lookout for buying a gift for your loved one or your son or your daughter to get them on the beach started, you can't go far wrong from this. We managed to do this whole setup: rod, reel, line, shock leader, end tackle, 2 sets of end tackle, £135. So I'd like to have done it for less than £100, but I think realistically the rod would have suffered, and this rod's quite a tidy little rod for the price. So happy days. You can do it on a budget. Thanks for joining me.